What is going on, guys? Big Red here. Hope you are doing well. Actually, Robbie here from the Big Red Express. And I know a lot of people out there are kind of talking about what the biggest issue, and I guess not the issue, but the biggest kind of story right now, since there's not a lot going on in the world of sports, is Tom Brady sat down with Howard Stern today for a over 2 hours, nearly 2.5 hours of content on Sirius XM, and let me tell you guys, it was outstanding. I think a lot of people were expecting the nitty gritty, the everything that you're going to get from Tom Brady that you never have gotten anywhere else. But let me tell you, I think one of the most unique things with Howard Stern and being somebody that's listened to Howard Stern for a long time is that you're not going to get your traditional, sports interviews. Howard doesn't know anything about sports. Howard Stern doesn't know, how many passes Tom Brady has in a year, that he doesn't know what's going on and how, Tom Brady plays football. I mean, obviously he has people that are going to tell him that. He has people that are going to, really embrace what he's able to do. But at the end of the day, Howard Stern's not going to really care much about the athletic accomplishments of Tom Brady. Yeah, they talked about it a little bit. They talked about kind of what his experience was in New England, and I think at the beginning it was a lot of like, okay, well, Tom, what are you doing? Like, why did you decide to leave New England? Why did you decide to go out and choose another team? You've been with one team for, man, what's it been, 20 years? So why in the world did you decide to move yourself, your family, all that stuff to Tampa Bay? And I think a lot of people that listen to it, and they may have been disappointed with the answers that Tom Brady gave. They may have been disappointed with everything that Tom Brady said in the interview. But, at the end of the day, I think it's very important for us to realize that right now, Tom Brady is at a point where he doesn't have to attract to anybody. He can say whatever he wants. He can get away with whatever he wants. He's not going to go out to somebody and say, hey, I had this remorse against New England. He didn't say any of that. He didn't have one bad word to say about the New England Patriots. He didn't have one thing bad to say about the organization as a whole. He just kind of said, you know what, it was time to move on. It was time to, go forward and to just kind of wrap things up with my career in New England. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's just what the decision. He thought he could play some more. And one of the biggest things that probably came out of the interview was he knew that pretty much at the beginning of last season, or this past season, that he was not going to be with New England anymore. And that's kind of a huge statement, because you think New England, you think Tom Brady. When you think of the Patriots, you think of Tom Brady. When you think of football, you think of Tom Brady on the New England Patriots. It's very difficult for me to think that Tom Brady's going to be on a different team. But at the end of the day, that's the fact of the matter. And if we have football this season, and it's a big if we have football this season, that's what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about, Tom Brady on another team. We're going to be talking about Tom Brady setting records for the Tampa Bay organization and the NFC South and things like that. And I think a lot of people were expecting Tom Brady to just go off on New England. They were expecting him to be like, oh, I hated that organization. I hated Bill Belichick. He held me back, and he did a lot of things to hurt my career. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the case at all. And I think I think that's very admirable for Tom Brady to go out and to say to someone as big as Howard Stern is, you're not going to get the everyday interview that the sports. A lot of sports people were very, very upset, and I'm talking livid, when they found out that Howard Stern was going to really be the first exclusive interview, long-form interview with Tom Brady after the whole news popped out a few weeks ago, or after, when free agency popped up, that he was going to be going to Tampa Bay. Howard Stern was really the first interview. And let's be honest, let's think about everything that's going on, and you think about what has happened in Tom Brady's career. He has to answer to literally nobody. I mean, and you look at, down the road, just how important it's going to be for Tom Brady's career to have this interview. Everyone, in my opinion, Howard Stern's the greatest interviewer of all time. He's one of the greatest talents in the history of radio, if not the greatest talent in the history of radio. And I think it was very important for him to go out and to be a part of this interview and to do this interview, because at the end of the day, the best was talking to the best. And I'm in radio, and I pride myself in the job that I'm able to do, but I'm not in talk radio right now. And I have been in the past. I've been in sports talk radio and things of that nature. And I was fascinated by the interview, because I think in a setting like Howard Stern brings to his interviews, and I don't know if anybody out there has listened to a Howard Stern interview, but if you haven't, I would suggest you go back right now and go listen to a lot of his interviews. I know the SiriusXM app is actually open and free until like the middle of May. So you have a month and a half to catch up on a ton, and I mean, hundreds and hundreds of hours of Howard Stern's recent interviews. And you're just going to be, fascinated with how deep diving he gets through his interview. And was this the deepest dive you could have gotten from Tom Brady? I don't know. It showed me a lot of what Howard Stern used to do and what Howard Stern kind of did in the past, where, these guests are nervous when they come on his show, and things are going to be kind of going forward, and they're going to be nervous. And obviously there were some connectivity issues at the beginning with Zoom and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he went in there, he got more comfortable, and the interview was one of Howard's longest interviews. This is one of the Tom Brady gave. But yeah, so I don't know if that's going to be one of Howard's best interviews of all time, but at the end of the day, it's going to go down as one of the most polarizing interviews that he's done, because it's one of the greatest football players to ever live, if not the greatest football player to ever live, greatest quarterback for sure. And I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, never have been. I'm a Giants fan. I've never been one to fan of Tom Brady's, but at the end of the day, acknowledge that, then there's something wrong with you, and there's something wrong with your fandom of sports. I'm a fan of greatness, and Tom Brady certainly is one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback that has ever lived. But I think, going back to this interview, a lot of people were expecting it to be the greatest thing in the history, and it was amazing. Don't get me wrong. It was 2.5 hours of conversation between two of the greatest in their field, and it was very cool to see Tom Brady open up in a way that he's never had to before, and in a way that he had never opened up before. And I think it's very cool to see, the vulnerability that Howard Stern can bring to a guest, because he doesn't have to impress anybody. He's not trying to, impress Tom Brady at all. I mean, Tom Brady's a big fan of Howard Stern, and I know this has been a long time coming, and it just kind of the timing was right. And it's crazy because everything and all the guests that Howard's been getting while they've been in quarantine, and I know over the past few weeks they've been kind of testing out different things, and it's very, very cool to see just the circumstances. And these are the kind of things that we can get when everyone's kind of at home. Sports figures are at home, big name celebrities are at home, and yes, Howard Stern is going to get the interviews 9 times out of 10 with anybody that he wants, pretty much. But at the end of the day, it's his decision. And for somebody that doesn't know a lot about sports and Howard Stern, he has a load of people that come in and that send him stuff and that work tirelessly. He also does. It just kind of dives deep into his mentality and his kind of work ethic in terms of every single interview he does. He spends countless and countless hours researching that person, researching what they do, their book. He'll read a book if they've written one, and just kind of go forward. And that's why he's one of the best ever. And I think, it's going to be one of those things where, down the road, is he ever going to retire? I don't know. I think I don't want him to retire. I think he's incredible. I don't think a lot of people out there want him to retire, but at the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants to do. I think right now, him being in his basement or his bunker or wherever he's at in New York it's going to be that could be the future of the show. And if he's doing that for the rest of his life, you know what? More power to him, as long as we get some more Howard Stern on the radio. But I'm going to wrap this thing up, guys. It's crazy that Tom Brady, and I'll speak more about these as time goes on. Just more about the upcoming football season, and it's just sports in general. You can listen to Sunday Smack Talk. We're going to have episodes pretty much every Wednesday, or not every Wednesday, every Monday. As often as Benish, Brooks, and I can record things, don't forget to subscribe. Click that like button if you are enjoying the content. It's always an option, but you don't have to. But the subscribe button helps out a lot. Lets us know that you're listening. If you haven't started listening, well, what a better time to go do it. It's kind of a little distraction, and we don't try to take ourselves too seriously, but it's a nice distraction where you can just kind of be like, okay, just kind of enjoy yourself and enjoy the content we're putting out there. Guys, that's going to do it for me. I know the mic was a little bit different. I'm testing these things out, and my at home setup isn't the best right now, but I'm working, and I'm trying to get it better than ever. Until next time, guys, don't forget, thanks so much for tuning in, for listening to my take on, again, a great interview. I thought it was an immense piece of work from Howard Stern. Tom Brady was awesome as he normally is. He answered the questions correctly, and I think Howard got him out of his shell a lot more than a lot of other people can and probably would be able to, just in this position that he's in. So enjoy it, guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you next time. Later.